PMP exam, content outline flashcards. This is a strategic teaching deck for exam success and real-world leadership. These flashcards are structured to reflect the official PMP examination content outline, (ECO), published by the Project Management Institute, PMI. The ECO breaks project management into 3 domains. 1. People, 42% of the exam. Second process, 50% of the exam. Third, business environment, 8% of the exam. Each domain contains tasks that project managers must be capable of performing and enablers that describe what those tasks involve. What this deck offers: over 200 flashcards organized by domain, task, and concept. Short, clear definitions, 3 sentences max. PMP-style examples for real-world application. Memorable quotes or insights to reinforce retention. Coverage of conflict modes, leadership styles, motivation theories, team dynamics, and Agile Hybrid predictive alignment. How to use this deck: study by domain to reinforce structured learning. Use examples to connect theory to experience. Highlight or annotate where needed to tailor to your personal experience. Refer to these as a teaching tool, not just for memorization. These cards are designed to help you think and lead like a PMP. Certification tests what you know. Leadership proves what you do with it. Phil Akinwale, Domain Amerbine, People, Teaching Flashcards. Conflict Management, expanded with Thomas Kilman. First, conflict sources. Conflict may arise from miscommunication, competing priorities, or personality clashes. Identifying the source helps choose the right strategy. Example: a developer is upset due to unclear task ownership. Source: role ambiguity. Second, conflict stages. Conflict progresses through stages: latent, perceived, felt, manifest, and aftermath. Knowing the stage helps in timely intervention. Example: tension brewing in daily stand-ups becomes an open disagreement, manifest conflict. Third, conflict context. The setting or environment, remote, high pressure, cross-cultural, shapes how conflict escalates or de-escalates. Example: a deadline-driven environment increases the likelihood of quick tempers. 4. Avoid.withdraw, TKI. This mode delays or sidesteps conflict without addressing the issue. Useful when the issue is trivial or emotions are high. Example: APM ignores an argumentative stakeholder during a heated meeting. Sometimes the best way to win is not to play. Eindam Kalam, DKI. Each party gives up something to reach a mutually acceptable solution. Often seen as fair, but may leave both sides partly dissatisfied. Example: 2 teams agree to split testing hours evenly, though neither is fully satisfied. 6. Reconcile, TKI, PMP term, smooth. This style emphasizes commonalities over differences to keep harmony. It can help maintain relationships but may not solve root issues. Example: PM downplays disagreement to keep meeting productive. Peace is not absence of conflict, but handling it wisely. Yedenchi force, direct, TKI. One party imposes a solution using authority or power. Fast but risky, can cause resentment if overused. Example: APM orders a developer to work weekend hours to meet a deadline. 8. Collaborate, problem solve, TKI. This approach seeks a win-win by addressing root causes together. It is time-intensive but yields the best long-term results. Example: stakeholders and PM create a new workflow that satisfies both performance and compliance. Win-win or no deal. 9. Accommodate, TKI. This mode gives in to the other party's concerns at the cost of one's own. It preserves relationships but can signal weakness. Example: PM accepts client's new requirement without contest to maintain rapport. 10th, conflict resolution strategy selection. Different situations require different styles. use collaboration for high stakes, and avoidance for trivial issues. Example, PM uses compromise when both marketing and dev teams are under pressure. Leadership and influence. 11th, leadership, general. Leadership is the ability to influence others toward achieving common goals. It involves vision, direction, and inspiration. The true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. John Maxwell. 12th, servant leadership. This style puts the team's needs first to enable high performance. A servant leader listens, supports, and removes roadblocks. Example, APM arranges training for a struggling developer rather than reprimanding them. 13. Leadership styles. Common styles include directive, top-down, collaborative, shared decision-making, and servant. Tailor style to team needs and maturity. Example, directive leadership is used during a project crisis, collaborative style during planning. 14. Vision and mission. A vision describes the future state. The mission explains why the project exists. Together they inspire and align the team. Example, vision, world-class app. Mission, improve access to mental health services. 15th team, motivation. Motivating a team involves recognizing effort, aligning with values, and creating purpose. Recognition boosts morale and performance. Team leadership and dynamics, continued. 16th stakeholder influence analysis. Assessing stakeholders' power, interest, and attitude helps determine how to manage them. Tools like the power interest grid are useful. Example, a VP with high power and high interest is managed closely. Know who moves the needle and who just makes noise. 17th, leading diverse individuals. Different team members respond to different leadership approaches based on culture, background, and personality. A flexible leader adapts. Example, PM uses coaching for one team member and delegation for another. 18th, team contracts and social agreements. A team contract outlines behavioral expectations and norms. It builds accountability and shared understanding. Example, we commit to honest feedback in retrospectives. 19th, reward systems. Formal and informal rewards, bonuses, shout-outs, help reinforce desired behaviors. Recognition is a low-cost, high-impact motivator. Example, PM celebrates early delivery with gift cards and public praise. What gets rewarded gets repeated. Blue team performance and feedback. 20th performance appraisal. Evaluating team members against KP helps track progress and identify growth areas. Done well, it builds trust. Example, PM reviews backlog velocity and quality metrics with the team. 21st, supporting growth. Encouraging learning and development improves morale and team capability. Support may include coaching or external training. Example, team lead mentors, junior tester on automation tools. 22nd, feedback approaches. Effective feedback is timely, specific, and constructive. Feed-forward, future-focused, is often more motivating. Example, instead of reviewing late, let's try pairing during estimation next time. 23rd, verifying improvements. Performance improvements must be observable and measurable. Use data to confirm progress. Example, bug rate decreases after training. Evidence of improvement. Empowerment and decision-making. 24th, strength-based organization. Aligning roles with individual strengths leads to better outcomes. Leverage what people do best. Example, creative team member assigned to UI/UX, not documentation. 25th, task accountability. Clear ownership promotes responsibility and follow-through. Accountability reduces confusion. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Remember to check out the PMPdoctor.com website for more great quizzes and study aids. Example, Ahmed owns the deployment checklist. Any blockers go to him. 26. Evaluating accountability. Check if commitments are met and if team members take ownership. Use one-on-ones and reviews. Example, missed deadlines are discussed respectfully in sprint reviews. 27th decision-making authority. Empower teams by clearly delegating what they can decide. Use RACI charts if needed. Example, developers decide on tech tools. PM decides on release dates. If everything needs your sign-off, you're the bottleneck. Training and competency. 28th, required competencies. Know what skills the project demands and what gaps exist. Use job descriptions and team assessments. Example, my project needs cloud migration skills, none currently in-house. 29th, training needs. Training needs are identified by performance gaps, future roles, or process shifts. Example, new Agile process triggers Scrum Master certification need. 30. Training options. Choose from on-the-job coaching, formal training, shadowing, or e-learning. Fit the method to the need. Example, in-house Jira tutorials replace expensive vendor training. 31. Allocating training resources. Ensure time, budget, and tools are set aside for learning. Don't treat training as optional. Example, team gets 2 hours per week dedicated to skill development. 32nd, measuring training outcomes. Look at behavior change, performance improvement, or certification as evidence of training success. Example, after UX training, user complaints drop 40%. Team building and skills management. 33rd, stakeholder skill appraisal. Evaluate stakeholder skills to determine the right fit for roles and responsibilities. This helps optimize contribution and reduce risks. Example, a business analyst with technical experience is assigned to bridge the dev team and product owner. 34th, resource requirement deduction. Project needs should guide the number and type of people required. Use historical data, analogous projects, and expert judgment. Example, based on past CRM projects, the PM estimates needing 3 developers and 1 tester. 35th, team skill. Refresh. Continuously assess if the team's skills meet evolving project needs. Reskilling or upskilling may be required. Example, ask with AI features added to the scope, the team enrolls in Python and ML training. 36. Knowledge transfer. Ongoing documentation and sharing of know-how ensures continuity despite turnover. Example, outgoing SME records demo videos and creates user stories before leaving the project. Impediments, obstacles, and blockers. 37th. Identifying critical impediments. Recognize issues that threaten delivery speed, quality, or morale. These are not just delays, they are threats. Example, PM detects repeated build failures due to test environment issues. 38th. Prioritizing impediments. Rank blockers by severity, impact, and urgency to handle the most disruptive first. Example, a stakeholder approval delay is escalated over minor UI bugs. 39th. Network-based problem solving. Use organizational connections to remove blockers. Influence and relationship capital are key. Example, PM contacts a friendly senior architect to expedite a stuck infrastructure request. 40th, continuous reassessment. Impediments are dynamic. What's unblocked today may resurface tomorrow. Revisit frequently. Example, weekly team retrospectives include an impediment check-in segment. Negotiation. 41st, negotiation boundaries. Know your constraints before entering a negotiation. Budget, scope, schedule, or legal limits. Example, PM cannot agree to overtime due to HR policies. 42nd, negotiation objectives. Define the ultimate goals you must walk away with, even if other details shift. Example, like key objective, get a 3-month license extension without cost increase. 43rd, agreement verification. Ensure negotiated terms match what was delivered or signed. Review and validate. Example, PM cross-checks new scope document against what was verbally agreed in the meeting. 44th, participation in negotiation. Be an active part of shaping project agreements, not just a spectator. Example, PM joins vendor contract negotiation to clarify delivery milestones. 45th, negotiation strategy. Prepare a strategy, collaborative, competitive, or compromise based on context. Example, PM uses integrative bargaining with a difficult stakeholder by highlighting mutual benefits. Stakeholder collaboration. 46 stakeholder engagement needs. Every stakeholder has different communication and involvement expectations. Tailor your approach. Example, a high-influence exec wants weekly dashboards. A team lead wants daily syncs. 47th, stakeholder alignment. Ensure project goals are not at odds with stakeholder needs. Misalignment breeds resistance. Example, PM adjusts deliverables after realizing the sponsor's top priority was speed, not features. 48th, building trust. Trust earns stakeholder buy-in and smooths over friction. Honesty, consistency, and delivery build trust. Example, after delivering 2 sprints on time, the skeptical product owner begins to ease off micromanagement. 49th, influencing stakeholders. Use facts, logic, relationships, and timing to shape stakeholder decisions without authority. Example, PM schedules a demo to showcase early progress and reduce client anxiety about delays. Shared understanding and virtual teams. 50. Root cause of misunderstanding. Peel back layers of miscommunication to address the real issue. Example, dev team's delay was misread as laziness. Actual cause, unclear user stories. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Remember to check out the PMPdoctor.com website for more great quizzes and study aids. 51st, reaching consensus. Facilitating mutual agreement ensures buy-in and commitment. Example, PM uses silent voting to let team choose between 2 technical approaches. 52nd, agreement support. Once consensus is reached, reinforce and protect that outcome. Example, PM updates the team charter to reflect the agreed meeting cadence. 53rd, misunderstanding investigation. Be proactive in uncovering and resolving potential confusion. Example, PM privately checks in with the tester who looked disengaged after the scope discussion. 54th, virtual team member needs. Virtual team members have unique needs. Time zone fairness, culture, engagement tools. Example, PM schedules rotating stand-up times so all regions feel equally valued. 55th, engagement alternatives. Tools like Slack, Zoom, Miro, and virtual Hangouts help maintain engagement. Example, PM replaces a canceled in-person kickoff with an interactive online event. 56th, virtual engagement implementation. Put plans into action. Don't just talk engagement, execute it. Example, PM sets up a recurring weekly remote water cooler session. 57th, engagement effectiveness. Evaluation. Ask how things are going. Are virtual members truly engaged? Example, a short anonymous pulse survey reveals communication gaps on Mondays. Team ground rules. 58th, organizational principles. Organizational values like transparency, inclusion, and accountability guide ground rules. Communicate these early to shape team culture. Example, the organization prioritizes open communication, so the team adopts a no silent disagreement rule. 59th, ground rule establishment. Ground rules set expectations for communication, decision-making, and behavior. They foster self-management. Example, cameras on during retrospectives becomes a team norm. 60th, rule violation management. Address violations respectfully and constructively. The goal is not punishment, but alignment. Example, a team member constantly interrupts others. PM holds a private coaching session. Mentoring. 61st, time allocation for mentoring. Mentorship needs to be intentional. Set aside time to support others' development. Example, the lead dev reserves 30 minutes weekly for mentoring the new intern. 60-second, identifying mentoring opportunities. Look for teachable moments, performance gaps, or growth desires. Example, PM offers mentoring to a junior BA preparing for stakeholder interviews. Emotional intelligence, EI. 63rd personality indicators. Tools like MBTI, DISC, or StrengthsFinder help decode how people process and react. Example, a team member scores high on introversion. PM doesn't expect them to speak up in big meetings without prompting. 64th, behavioral assessment. Observe how people respond under pressure or to feedback. It reveals their EI needs. Example, one team member shuts down during criticism. PM switches to feed-forward coaching. 65th, adapting to emotional needs. Tailor communication and leadership style to individual emotional triggers and needs. Example, PM praises an anxious team member in private rather than in front of others. Leadership basics. 66. The true measure of leadership. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Influence builds trust, shapes direction, and turns vision into reality. Example, a junior PM earns team trust through consistent follow-through and integrity. Quote, John C. Maxwell. 67th, flexible leadership style. One size doesn't fit all. Shift between directive, coaching, supporting, and delegating based on team maturity. Example, a new team gets more structure. A seasoned team gets autonomy. 68th, motivation through vision. A compelling vision engages hearts and minds. It fuels motivation even during tough project phases. Example, PM reminds the team that their work enables affordable education access for kids globally. Domain 2, process, flashcard series. Task 1, execute project with urgency. 68th, business value. Business value is the measurable benefit delivered to the customer or organization. It includes ROI, cost savings, impact, or strategic alignment. Example, delivering a reporting tool early lets the client start saving costs sooner. 69th, value delivery urgency. Deliver value fast by breaking work into useful increments. Urgency is not haste, it's strategic speed. Example, PM accelerates MVP delivery while delaying nice-to-haves. 70th, incremental delivery. Deliver in small working parts that provide immediate use. Encourages feedback and course correction. Example, a usable dashboard is delivered before full analytics rollout. 71st, MVP, minimum viable product. The simplest version that delivers core value. Helps get early feedback and avoid waste. Example, app launches with core booking features. Reviews and chat come later. 72nd, task subdivision. Break large tasks into manageable chunks to reveal dependencies and reduce risk. Example, instead of develop interface, team splits into design mockup, code front end, test usability. Task 2, manage communications. 73rd, communication needs analysis. Tailor messaging to each stakeholder's role, influence, and preferences. One size doesn't fit all. Example, devs want detailed JIRA tickets, execs want high-level dashboards. 74, communication methods. Choose the right format, meetings, reports, chat, or formal memos. Example, design issues are resolved faster in real-time huddles than by email. 75th, communication channels. Channels include face-to-face, email, collaboration tools, or meetings. Pick based on urgency and formality. Example, PM uses Slack for quick updates, SharePoint for documentation. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Remember to check out the PMPDoctor.com website for more great quizzes and study aids. 76. Communication frequency. Set how often each group gets updates, daily, weekly, monthly. Example, team gets daily syncs, sponsor gets weekly reports. 77th communication level of detail. Executives want summaries, analysts need specifics. Match content to audience. Example, sponsor gets a one-pager, team gets detailed risk logs. 78, effective communication. It's not what's said, it's what's understood. Clarity, timing, and medium matter. Example, a status email with bullet points and visuals avoids misinterpretation. 79th, communication confirmation. Verify the message was received and understood. Feedback loops help. Example, PM follows up presentation with, any concerns or questions? 80ster feedback loop. Two-way communication ensures learning, adjustment, and trust. Example, customer says MVP needs tweaks. PM logs into backlog. Task 3, assess and manage risks. 81st, risk management options. Choose to avoid, transfer, mitigate, or accept risks. Tailor the strategy to risk exposure and tolerance. Example, high-cost risk is transferred via insurance. 82nd, risk prioritization. Rank risks based on probability and impact. Focus on what could derail the project. Example, a supplier delay gets flagged as high priority. 83rd, iterative risk assessment. Risks evolve. Reassess regularly during reviews or retros. Example, new risks arise after scope expansion. Risk register is updated. Task 4, engage stakeholders. 84th, stakeholder analysis. Identify stakeholders and understand their interests, power, and influence. Example, legal team has low interest but high power. Manage closely. 85th, power interest grid. Plot stakeholders to decide engagement level. Manage closely, keep satisfied, keep informed, or monitor. Example, high power, low interest equals keep satisfied. Don't overload them. 86th, stakeholder impact. Assess how stakeholders can affect or be affected by the project. Example, a resistant VP can delay funding, flag early. 87th, stakeholder categorization. Group stakeholders by behavior, influence, role, or support level. Example, advocates, neutrals, blockers. 88th, stakeholder engagement strategy. Plan how to involve each stakeholder based on their needs and influence. Example, weekly demos for product owner, monthly steering updates for executives. 89th, stakeholder engagement execution. Follow through with your engagement plan. Communication alone isn't enough. Build trust. Example, PM invites a skeptical user to test early builds. 90th, stakeholder engagement validation. Check if stakeholders are engaged and aligned with the project. Example, PM surveys key users to confirm they're satisfied with progress. Task 5, plan and manage budget and resources. 91st, budget estimation. Estimate costs based on scope, historical data, and expert judgment. Use bottom-up or analogous techniques. Example, PM uses past infrastructure projects to estimate $80,000 for cloud setup. 92nd, lessons learned. Use past project data to avoid known pitfalls and refine estimates. Example, last project had a 15% cost overrun. This one includes a buffer. 93rd, budget forecasting. Predict future costs using current spend and trends. Look ahead, not just behind. Example, if burn rate continues, the project will exceed budget by month 4. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Remember to check out the PMPdoctor.com website for more great quizzes and study aids. 94, budget monitoring. Track actual versus planned spend regularly. Use dashboards or EVM if needed. Example, weekly financial reviews highlight deviations early. 95th, budget adjustment. When costs shift, update the budget through change control or reallocation. Example, vendor quote came in higher. PM reallocates contingency. 96, resource planning. Identify required human, material, and equipment resources. Example, a technical writer is scheduled for weeks 4 through 6 for documentation. 97. Resource management. Acquire, onboard, develop, and release resources as needed. Example, PM requests 2 testers from the resource pool for UAT phase. Task 6. Plan and manage schedule. 98th task estimation. Estimate time for each task using expert judgment, past data, or story points. Example, dev task estimated at 5 days based on similar past work. 99th milestones. Key checkpoints or deliverables used for reporting and motivation. Example, design approval by April 15th is a milestone. 100 dependencies. Define task relationships, finish to start, etc. Example, testing can't start until development finishes. 101st story points. Relative sizing used in Agile to estimate effort and complexity. Example, login screen equals 3 points. Payment integration equals 8 points. 102nd benchmarking. Compare your schedule or process against industry or internal standards. Example, PM checks if similar projects completed implementation in under 6 weeks. 103rd, historical data. Use records from past projects to inform estimates and planning. Example, last 4 mobile rollouts averaged 40 days, used as baseline. 104th. Scheduling methodology. Choose predictive, agile, or hybrid scheduling approaches. Example, agile for dev sprints, predictive for go live. 105th progress measurement. Track how far along the project is. Use burn down charts or percent complete. Example, sprint 2 is 70% complete based on finished stories. 106th schedule modification. Update schedule due to changes in scope, risk, or resources. Example, supplier delay pushes UAT back by 2 days. 107th, project coordination. Align tasks across internal teams to avoid overlaps or gaps. Example, development and testing teams sync every Tuesday. 108th operations coordination. Ensure project handoffs align with operational readiness. Example, ops team is prepped 2 weeks ahead of system cutover. Task 7, plan and manage quality. 109th, quality standards. Define what good looks like, based on industry, client, or internal standards. Example, ISO 9001 or customer-specified defect tolerance. 110th deliverable quality. Verify if outputs meet agreed-upon standards. Example, code must pass 100% of automated tests. 111th. Quality gaps. Identify the difference between current quality and expectations. Example, users report slow load times, gap in performance. 112th. Quality improvement options. Suggest fixes, refactoring, training, new tools. Example, dev team adopts code reviews to reduce rework. 113th. Quality monitoring. Ongoing checks via audits, reviews, or metrics. Example, QA team tracks defect leakage across sprints. Task 8, plan and manage scope. 114th, requirements prioritization. Rank what matters most using Moscow W, Kano, or business value. Example, login feature is must have, not could have. 115th, requirements determination. Gather needs using interviews, workshops, or observations. Example, PM conducts stakeholder workshop to collect key needs. 116th. Scope breakdown. Divide scope into manageable parts using WBS or backlogs. Example line, create website is broken into design, dev, and test work packages. 117th work breakdown structure, WBS. A hierarchical decomposition of project work. Example, like level 1 equals build system, level 2 equals front end, back end. 118th product backlog. In Agile, a dynamic list of features, bugs, and tasks. Example, backlog includes user login, password reset, and audit log. 119th, scope monitoring. Track changes or scope creep. Stay aligned with baselines. Example, new request triggers scope review and impact analysis. 120th, scope validation. Formal acceptance of deliverables by customer or stakeholder. Example, client signs off the completed dashboard after demo. Task 9, integrate project planning activities. 121st, plan consolidation. Combine individual plans, scope, schedule, cost, etc. into a unified project plan. Example, integration ensures schedule aligns with available budget. 122nd, dependency assessment. Identify where one task, team, or deliverable relies on another. Example, testing depends on dev completion. Dependency flagged. 123rd, gap identification. Find missing elements, contradictions, or overlaps across plans. Example, resource plan assumes tools not listed in procurement plan. 124. Continued business value. Confirm plans still align with business objectives throughout planning. Example, budget cuts prompt replanning to preserve value delivery. 125th, data analysis. Use trends, forecasts, and metrics to support planning decisions. Example, cost trends show scope needs reduction to meet target. 126. Informed decision-making. Use integrated data from all areas to drive choices. Example, PM adjusts schedule after reviewing risk and resource availability. 127. Critical information requirements. Define what info is essential to guide execution and control. Example, weekly earned value reports are required for sponsor decisions. Task 10. Manage project changes. 128th. Change anticipation. Expect and plan for change, it's inevitable. Example, PM adds 10% time buffer for likely regulatory updates. 129th. Change management practices. Use formal processes to assess and implement changes. Example, change requests go through CCB before approval. 130th. Change management strategy. Outline how you'll handle scope, schedule, or cost changes. Example, Agile project uses rolling wave planning to absorb change smoothly. 131st, change execution. Once approved, implement the change into the plan and communicate it. Example, new milestone added after scope extension is approved. 132nd, change response strategy. Evaluate options, reject, defer, or absorb the change based on impact. Example, PM defers enhancement until after MVP release. Task 11, plan and manage procurement. 133rd, resource definition. Clarify what needs to be bought, people, software, equipment. Example, project requires third-party API and load testing tool. 134th, resource communication. Ensure stakeholders know what's being procured, when, and why. Example, procurement sends vendor spec sheet to legal and IT. 135th, supplier management. Monitor vendor performance, timelines, and quality. Example, weekly check-ins reveal supplier is 2 days behind. Adjustments made. 136, contract management. Track terms, obligations, and change clauses in vendor contracts. Example, vendor tries to charge more. PM cites fixed price clause. 137th, procurement strategy. Choose best approach. RFP, RFQ, direct purchase, agile contract. Example, time and materials used for exploratory design work. 138th, delivery solution. Align procurement to ensure vendors deliver complete, usable outcomes. Example, vendor required to provide training and documentation, not just software. Task 12, manage project artifacts. 139th, Artifact requirements. Define what docs data are needed, where stored, and by whom. Example: risk register updated weekly and stored in shared drive. 140th. Version control. Ensure the latest approved document is accessible to all. Example changelog shows current scope v3.1. Old versions archived. 141st. Stakeholder access. Make sure the right people can reach the right documents. Example QA has edit rights to test cases. Stakeholders get read-only access. 142nd. Artifact effectiveness. Periodically check if artifacts are clear, current, and being used. Example: retrospective reveals nobody's using the RAID log. It's simplified. Task 13. Determine methodology practices. 143rd. Project complexity. Higher complexity may call for iterative or adaptive methods. Example: new tech equals agile. Routine rollout equals waterfall. 144th. Project magnitude. Large projects may need layered governance, phase gates, and detailed controls. Example: $20 million program uses hybrid model and earned value. 145th. Execution strategy. Choose how to deliver, phased rollout, pilots, fast tracking. Example: PM selects phased go live across regions. 146. Contracting. Pick contract types based on risk, scope clarity, and incentives. Example: fixed price used for well-defined task. T and M for R&D. 147th. Finance strategies. Align funding method with execution, milestone payments, CAPEX-OPEX split. Example: release 40% funds after Phase 1 closure. 148th. Methodology recommendation. Suggest best fit, predictive, agile, or hybrid. Example: agile used for software, predictive for compliance documents. 149th. Iterative practices. Plan small cycles, review, adjust, repeat. Example: sprint planning, build, demo, feedback loop. 150th. Incremental practices. Deliver small pieces of working product frequently. Example: release report builder in week 4, charts in week 6. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Remember to check out the PMPDoctor.com website for more great quizzes and study aids. 151st. Lessons learned. Capture insights during and after project to inform future efforts. Example: missed stakeholder review causes delay, logged for future planning. 152nd. Stakeholder engagement practices. Use collaborative planning, demos, and feedback to involve stakeholders. Example: PO joins daily stand-ups to keep tight alignment. 153rd. Risk practices. Agile equals frequent reassessment. Predictive equals upfront analysis. Example: risk burndown used in Scrum, Monte Carlo, and Waterfall. Task 14. Establish governance structure. 154th. Project governance. Defines how decisions get made and who has authority. Example: CCB approves all scope changes over 10K. 155th. Governance replication. Align project governance with organization's model, avoid confusion. Example: PM follows PMO-defined gate review process. 156. Escalation paths. Set up clear routes to raise issues beyond the team. Example: issues unresolved in 24 hours go to project sponsor. 157. Escalation thresholds. Determine which issues justify escalation based on cost, impact, time. Example: delays over 5 days must be escalated. Task 15. Manage project issues. 158. Issue identification. Spot and document events that affect project objectives. Example: server crash delays testing, logged as issue. 159. Issue versus risk. Risk equals future uncertainty. Issue equals something that already happened. Example: a missed requirement is an issue, Fear of missing one is a risk. 160th. Optimal issue resolution. Choose best fit solution based on impact, time, and trade-offs. Example, PM negotiates extra dev time in exchange for cutting low priority feature. 161st. Stakeholder collaboration. Involve key players to resolve issues quickly. Example, legal, IT, and vendor align to fix compliance delay. Task 16. Ensure knowledge transfer. 162nd. Responsibility discussion. Clarify who owns what tasks and deliverables. Example, PM confirms dev team owns deployment, not IT. 163rd. Expectation setting. Define what success looks like in each role or task. Example, done means coded, tested, and reviewed. Team agrees. 164. Knowledge transfer approach. Plan how lessons, tools, and context will pass from one person or team to another. Example, new team members get onboarding playbook plus shadowing sessions. Task 17. Project/phase closure or transitions. 165th. Closure criteria. Define what must be done to consider a phase project complete. Example, all deliverables signed, contracts closed, lessons logged. 166. Transition readiness. Ensure handover to operations or next phase is clean. Example, user training, ops manual, and support contact delivered. 167th. Phase transition. Move smoothly from one phase to the next, align timing and dependencies. Example, design phase ends only after stakeholder approval. 168th. Final lessons learned. Capture insights. What worked, what didn't. Example, PM conducts retrospective to gather team feedback. 169th. Retrospective. Agile reflection to inspect and adapt. Example, Taman. Team commits to tighter user story grooming next sprint. 170th. Procurement closure. Confirm all goods services delivered, invoices paid, and disputes settled. Example, vendor sign-off received, final payment processed. 171st. Financial closure. Close budgets, report variances, and release unused funds. Example, $8,000 under budget returned to finance. 172nd. Resource release. Offboard people, tools, and licenses when done. Example, contractors debriefed and released after go-live. Domain 3, business environment. Task 1, plan and manage project compliance. 173rd. Compliance requirements. Projects must meet legal, regulatory, safety, and policy standards. Identify all requirements early. Example, healthcare project must comply with HIPAA data regulations. 174th. Security compliance. Follow information security policies and protocols to protect assets. Example, all project files must be stored in an encrypted, access-controlled system. 175th. Health and safety compliance. Ensure the project does not endanger people. Required in construction, manufacturing, and site-based work. Example, construction. PM enforces PPE use and site safety briefings. 176. Regulatory compliance. Projects must adhere to laws and industry-specific rules. Example, software used in finance must comply with SOX or GDR 177. Compliance categories. Group compliance into areas: legal, environmental, financial, safety, security. Example, a drone project tracks FAA regulations under aviation compliance. 178. Compliance threats. Risks that arise from potential non-compliance may cause delays, fines, or shutdowns. Example, PM flags outdated license on critical third-party software. 179. Compliance support methods. Use audits, checklists, and SME reviews to ensure alignment. Example, Compliance officer reviews testing process before launch. 180. Non-compliance consequences. Failure to comply can lead to legal action, penalties, or brand damage. Example, missed security control results in data breach. Public trust drops. 181st compliance risk response. Proactively address gaps with mitigation, insurance, or change in scope. Example, PM adds additional testing for high-risk financial module. 182. Legal considerations. Legal team input may affect procurement, contracts, and delivery methods. Example, PM reviews NDAS before involving third-party developers. 183rd compliance measurement. Track and verify adherence through KPIs, audits, or external reports. Example, weekly review ensures project maintains ISO certification readiness. Task 2. Evaluate and deliver project benefits and value. 184. Benefits identification. Clearly define the intended business value at the start. Example line, benefit equals 20% reduction in customer support calls. 185. Benefit ownership. Assign accountability for tracking benefits after project handover. Example, product manager owns benefit realization post go live. 186. Ongoing benefit realization. Projects may end, but benefits are realized over time. Track them. Example, cloud migration shows ROI 6 months after project ends. 187. Measurement system for benefits. Set metrics, baselines, and tools to track value. Example, in a monthly dashboard shows revenue growth linked to new CRM. 188. Value delivery options. Explore paths like MVPs, phased delivery, or cost reduction to show value early. Example, pilot implementation proves concept before full rollout. 189. Stakeholder value appraisal. Update stakeholders on value realized, not just tasks completed. Example, sponsor brief highlights increased customer retention post-launch. Task 3. Evaluate and address external business environment changes. 190th External Change Survey. Continuously scan for market, regulatory, geopolitical, or tech shifts. Example, AI legislation forces change to planned chatbot feature. 191. Regulatory changes. New or revised rules may impact scope, timing, or cost. Example, new tax law requires adjustment in project accounting logic. 192. Technological changes. Advances in tools or platforms may offer opportunities or force rework. Example, a new mobile OS version breaks the existing app. Schedule shift. 193rd. Geopolitical changes. Global events, conflicts, tariffs, political shifts can disrupt resources or supply chains. Example, project delays due to trade embargo on parts supplier. 194. Market changes. Customer preferences or competitor actions may change priorities. Example, a rival launches a better product. Project scope is adjusted to stay competitive. 195th. Scope impact assessment. Determine how external changes affect deliverables and project direction. Example, new privacy law reduces feature set for data collection module. 196. Backlog impact assessment. For Agile, reassess product backlog to reflect new constraints or opportunities. Example, top backlog items reprioritized after user testing insights. 197. Scheduled night cost change recommendation. Adjust timelines and budgets in response to environmental shifts. Example, PM proposes 2-week extension due to vendor recertification delay. 198th Continuous external review. Make external scanning part of regular planning and risk reviews. Example, monthly horizon scan added to risk management process. Task 4. Support organizational change. 199th. Organizational culture assessment. Understand values, behaviors, and tolerance for change before executing. Example: risk-averse culture needs detailed plans before acting. 200th project impact on organization. Evaluate how your project will change teams, processes, or tools. Example: a new CRM affects sales, marketing, and support teams. 201st. Organization impact on project. Existing structure, resistance, or politics can shape how the project runs. Example: PM builds a coalition to overcome functional manager resistance. 202. Organizational change actions. Support change with communication, training, coaching, and readiness planning. Example: PM schedules training for users ahead of system rollout. Ouchi. Blanchard. Situational leadership model. People domain extension. Blanchard situational leadership model. This model suggests that leaders should adapt their style based on team members' maturity, competence plus commitment. The 4 styles are telling, directing; low competence, high commitment; selling, coaching; some competence, low commitment; participating, supporting; high competence, variable commitment; delegating, high competence, high commitment. Example: a new hire unfamiliar with tools needs a telling style, while a senior developer can be trusted with a delegating style. Quote: effective leaders match their style to the development level of the individual or team they're leading. Blanchard. 204. 5 stages of team development. Tuckman's model. Title: Tuckman's 5 stages of team development. Definition: teams progress through forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. Each stage has challenges. Storming has conflict. Norming brings alignment. Performing delivers results. Example: a new cross-functional team clashes early, storming, but later develops shared rituals and performs efficiently. Quote: great teams aren't born, they're built storm by storm. 205th. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Title: Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Definition: human motivation follows 5 levels: physiological, safety, love, belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. Unmet lower-level needs will block progress to higher levels. Example: a developer worried about job security won't focus on innovation until stability is restored. Quote: people will not go the extra mile if they don't feel safe walking the first. 206. McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y. Title: McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y. Definition: Theory X assumes people dislike work and need control. Theory Y assumes people are self-motivated and seek responsibility. Leaders act according to their belief. Example: a theory. X manager micromanages every task. A Theory Y manager delegates with trust. Quote: how you see your team determines how they show up. 207th. Herzberg's 2-factor theory. Title: Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory. Definition: motivators, growth, recognition, achievement, drive satisfaction, while hygiene factors, pay, policies, work conditions, prevent dissatisfaction. Fixing hygiene doesn't motivate, it just removes complaints. Example: fixing a noisy office helps, but career growth discussions truly engage. Quote: people don't work better just because the AC works. They work better when they feel valued. 208th. Vroom's expectancy theory. Title: Vroom's expectancy theory. Definition: motivation equals expectancy times instrumentality times valence. People will act if they believe effort leads to performance. Expectancy: performance leads to reward, instrumentality, and reward is meaningful, valence. Example: A tester works late only if they believe extra effort leads to recognition and that recognition matters to them. Quote, people are driven not just by what's expected, but what's rewarded and what it means. 209. McClelland's Theory of Needs. Title: McClelland's Theory of Needs. Definition: people are motivated by one or more dominant needs: achievement, affiliation, or power. Know your team's drivers to lead them effectively. Example: a high achiever craves challenge. An affiliator thrives in group settings. Quote, find what fuels them: challenge, connection, or control. 210th. Ouchi's Theory Z. Title: Ouchi's Theory Z. Definition: blends American and Japanese management, emphasizing long-term employment, trust, collective decision-making, and employee well-being. Stability and loyalty lead to strong performance. Example: a firm offers job rotation and career development to keep employees engaged for the long haul. Quote, invest in people and they'll invest in results. 211. Blanchard Situational Leadership Model, People Domain Extension. Title: Blanchard Situational Leadership Model. Definition: this model suggests that leaders should adapt their style based on team members' maturity, competence plus commitment. The 4 styles are telling, directing, low competence, high commitment; selling, coaching, some competence, low commitment; participating, supporting, high competence, variable commitment; delegating, high competence, high commitment. Example: a new hire unfamiliar with tools needs a telling style, while a senior developer can be trusted with a delegating style. Quote, effective leaders match their style to the development level of the individual or team they're leading. Ken Blanchard. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Remember to check out the PMPdoctor.com website for more great quizzes and study aids. Best wishes on your PMP journey.